It's time for a morning shake-up, and we're delving into McDonald's like you've never seen it before. Why are there golden arches and appealing menu boards? They'd probably like to keep a few secrets hidden tighter than a McDouble. Let me just say, if some McDonald's employees refuse to consume specific foods, they usually have a valid reason. Some goods sit for far too long. Others? They're not quite what they seem. And a few might make you reconsider every fast food yearning you've ever had. So, when you place your next order, consider these meats at McDonald's, beginning with the infamous McRib. Have you ever wondered why the McRib disappears and reappears at random, like a crazy ex? It isn't because McDonald's is attempting to create hype. Nope, it comes down to pork costs. When pork becomes cheap enough, the McRib returns. It's the fast food industry's boomerang. No one asks for it, yet it always comes back. So what are you truly eating? Spoiler alert, it is not ribs. It's a mixture of ground pork shoulder and leftover trimmings squeezed into a rib shape, similar to ordering a genuine automobile and receiving a cardboard cutout with wheels. And how do they hold the meat together? Using something called meat glue. Yes, that is a genuine thing. Not exactly what you want to imagine when you bite into a sandwich. The McRib's ingredient list once featured azotocarbonamide, a substance found in yoga mats and shoe bottoms. Fortunately, they've removed it now, but it leaves you wondering, what else is in there? What about the tangy sauce? Mostly there to cover the flavor. It contains high fructose corn syrup and preservatives. Even the grill marks are fake. They're put on with caramel coloring. It's roughly as authentic as a $3 bill. And get this, the McRib has 70% more salt than promised. It's like the vampire of the fast food industry, refusing to mature and lingering much too long in those warming trays. To be honest, some of them have been sitting out for so long that they most likely qualify for tenant rights. But what about the McRib? That's only the beginning. Let's discuss the Chicken McNuggets. They may appear innocent, but a normal McNugget contains only approximately 50 to 60% genuine chicken. What about the rest? It's as if your digestive system has been smacked with a mysterious box. The meat contains modified cornstarch, wheat starch, dextrose, citric acid, and rosemary extract. Now let's add the breading. That's where we get to hydrogenated soybean oil and TBHQ, a petroleum-based preservative. That's true. A byproduct of the fuel that powers your automobile keeps your nuggets fresh. Their shelf life is so extensive that your auto loan may expire before they do. Remember those viral pink slime photographs that resembled strawberry soft serve turned evil? McDonald's insists it no longer uses pink slime, but former employees have told a different story. They claim the meat paste still contains bits of the bird that most people would never consider eating. We're talking fat, skin, connective tissue, blood vessels, and bone. Essentially, everything but the chicken's personality. And here's a shocking fact. Nuggets can be refried up to 3 times before being discarded. If they sit in the warming tray for too long, staff are instructed to simply put them back into the fryer. Reheat and repeat, sometimes more than once. So, the next time you go for those crispy golden bits, consider, how fresh is this nugget really? Before being discarded, McNuggets frequently make one last trip back into the deep fryer. In fact, they're immersed in oil so many times that they may be put in a Salem witch trial. During peak hours, certain restaurants produce large quantities of nuggets. But here's the problem. What about the extras? They just sat and sit, sometimes for hours. So, when you bite into the 4th or 5th nugget in your box, you might be chewing on food that has been sitting under heat lamps since the breakfast shift. Now that we have officially lost our taste for chicken, let us dive into something from the sea. And yes, things are about to get considerably murkier. Let's discuss the Filet-O-Fish. Ask a former McDonald's employee which item you should never order, and you'll get the same answer, the Filet-O-Fish. Why? Because it is rarely, if ever, prepared fresh. Unless it's a Friday during Lent, few people order this dish. And limited demand causes a major issue, freshness or the lack thereof. Those fish patties frequently linger in warming trays for hours. By the time someone eventually orders one, the filet has been waiting so long that it may be eligible for retirement benefits. A survey of 100 McDonald's employees found that 87% said their restaurants rarely cook the Filet-O-Fish to order. Instead, they prepare a tiny batch and keep it in storage cabinets. Officially, fish should be discarded after 30 minutes. But according to the employees, that timer can be extended to 4 hours, or even longer. We're talking about fish that has aged longer than some good cheese. If it wasn't bad enough, consider the oil. Fish patties should be fried in their own fryer, separate from anything else. This is to prevent flavor crossover. No one wants fish that tastes like fries or stale nuggets. But what happens when things get busy? All bets are off. Some stores cook everything in the same oil, so your Filet-O-Fish may include an unexpected flavor character. Even McDonald's training materials have put the Filet-O-Fish as a low priority for oil changes. That's similar to saying, we'll clean it eventually. Have you spotted the half slice of cheese on a sandwich? That is not an accident. McDonald's utilizes only half a piece of American cheese on each Filet-O-Fish. Officially, it's for flavor balance. But unofficially, former management claim it's a cost-cutting measure that saves the corporation millions of dollars each year. It's not that the cheese is lazy, it's simply working part-time. When a fish patty rests for too long, the cheese frequently melts abnormally. Then it hardens again, becoming a rubbery, funky mess. To compensate, staff are taught to slather on additional tartar sauce. The normal recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of sauce, but if the filet has been resting for a while, it may require twice or triple the amount to disguise the texture. Essentially, it's camouflage. All right, let's get out of those murky waters and move on to something that seems healthier. Sounds. Let's discuss grilled chicken. Many consumers choose McDonald's grilled chicken because they believe it is the healthier option. However, it could be one of the most deceiving things on the menu. You've probably noticed the odd rubbery texture. It's not your imagination, and it's not simply terrible cooking. McDonald's grilled chicken starts with frozen patties, which comprise less than 70% genuine chicken meat. What about the rest? A combination of engineered cornstarch, salt, wheat starch, and natural flavoring. Essentially, science. And those grill marks? Don't get very thrilled. They're not from a flame. They're printed on the meat with caramel coloring and food pigments. It's not grilled, it's glammed up, like contour makeup for your sandwich. So, the next time you're eyeing the grilled chicken, believing you're making the right option, remember, it's wearing a disguise. McDonald's grilled chicken is clearly deceiving us. A 2022 study examined fast food grilled chicken across chains and discovered that McDonald's version contained roughly 3 times more sodium than if you cooked a fresh chicken at home. Just one sandwich might account for up to 40% of your daily salt intake. That's a lot of salt for something that claims to be healthy. However, salt is not the only warning flag here. The chicken has what amounts to a chemical spa day. It is treated with sodium phosphates, modified food starch, and other preservatives to help it keep fresh. However, these additives do more than just extend shelf life. They also assist the meat maintain moisture. Normal chicken dries out when reheated. But what about McDonald's grilled chicken? It stays moist as if it's been drinking from the fountain of youth. Except it isn't water, it's industrial chemicals. Lab testing have even revealed that these patties may maintain their consistency for up to 6 months when stored properly. 6 months. That isn't a sandwich, it's science fiction. Here's the actual kicker. In an anonymous poll, 75% of McDonald's employees stated that they would never eat grilled chicken in their own restaurant. Let's speak about the McDonald's sausage patty, a little disc of mystery meat that nevertheless holds the distinction of the most perplexing item on the breakfast menu. This small circle is baked in large batches during the early shift, long before most people wake up. But here's the issue. They sit, and sit, and sit. Food safety studies revealed that the typical sausage patty spends 97 minutes in the warming tray before being served. That is more than 4 times longer than McDonald's 20-minute maximum. Some of these sausage patties have been sitting there for so long, they should be collecting unemployment. What's in that sausage, anyway? The ingredients are concerning. It contains 32 chemicals, including BHA and BHD, 2 preservatives that are banned in various countries due to health hazards. Oh, and MSG? Yeah, it is there, hidden under 4 distinct labels to hide the taste degradation that occurs when meat sits out for too long. But this is where things become more crazier. When sausage patties begin to dry up or become crusty after hours of sitting, employees are instructed to give them a small spa treatment known as the steaming trick. That means wrapping the patties in a damp paper towel and microwaving them for about 15 seconds. That's correct. Your breakfast has just received a facial. These sausage patties receive more spot treatments than most people can afford in a day spa. It's also not particularly nutritionally beneficial. Just one patty includes 22 grams of fat, almost 1/3 of your daily value, and 400 milligrams of salt. It is essentially the heavyweight champion of McDonald's breakfast meats. What about the excessive fat content? This makes the grill surfaces slick with grease, causing further issues, such as cross-contamination with other breakfast dishes. The grills are rarely thoroughly cleaned during the morning rush. So everything sort of merges together in a jumble of oil, sausage grease, and whatever else was placed on the griddle. Instead of thoroughly cleaning the breakfast grill, employees are frequently instructed to scrape it down with a metal spatula between batches. So, when you bite into that fresh sausage patty, you're actually receiving a coating of flavor, left over from dozens of patties cooked earlier, some from hours before. Yeah, that isn't seasoning, it's sausage history. Let's move on from this greasy breakfast excursion and focus on the cornerstone of McDonald's empire, the modest hamburger. McDonald's produces an estimated 6 million hamburgers per day worldwide. This is enough to feed a small country. But what's behind the sizzling sound and scent that greets you before you even step through the door? There's a secret to their beef patties that may surprise even the most devoted lovers. Let's break it down. Unlike the Quarter Pounder, which is usually prepared fresh to order at most restaurants, what about the ordinary patties used in hamburgers and cheeseburgers? Yeah, they're almost usually reheated. Why? A single word: economics. Regular patties are thinner and cook faster, which is ideal for speed, but they also cool down quickly. To keep things moving during busy times, most restaurants will prepare large batches of patties ahead of time and put them in warming trays. But here's the kicker. Food science studies show that these burgers wait for an average of 45 minutes before being served. This is roughly 3 times longer than McDonald's recommended hold time of 10 minutes. These patties have been waiting for longer than you have in the drive-thru line. And things grow worse. Employees discuss something dubbed the double batch problem. Managers frequently instruct kitchen staff to prepare twice as many patties as usual during peak traffic times. However, when this happens, newer patties are heaped directly on top of older ones in the tray. So what about those dry, overdone patties? They're shoved to the back, forgotten and ignored, until someone digs them out. What happens when they do? There's a solution for that. Workers are instructed to do a simple burger magic trick: microwave revival. A leaked McDonald's training document urges employees to refresh dried burgers by heating them for 8 seconds with a damp paper towel. That's true. Your burger could have simply taken a microwave steam bath. Think of it as burger CPR, except, spoiler alert, it doesn't revive it. Now let us discuss quality. Yes, all McDonald's meat is technically 100% beef. However, not all patties are created equal. The Quarter Pounder uses a different grade of beef, and it shows. Regular patties contain more fillers and binders, resulting in a different texture and flavor. A 2020 study discovered that a single batch of normal patties can contain meat from more than 100 different cows. That is not just unpleasant, it also increases the potential of contamination. And if you believe the warming trays are keeping the burgers safe, think again. They're designed to keep patties at a constant 140 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the minimum safe temperature. However, internal investigations revealed that 83% of locations had warming cabinets that fell below that threshold at some time during the day. So yes, your patties may not just be old. It could also be under temperature. Now that we've discovered the truth behind the burger, where do we go from here? Let's look at one more chicken item. And honestly, this one might be even more dubious than the nuggets. Yes, we're referring to the flat, breaded chicken patties seen in sandwiches, such as the McChicken and Spicy McChicken. Let me just say, if chicken had a family reunion, these patties would be the forgotten cousins no one acknowledges they are connected to. According to former quality control staff and managers who have worked at several fast food chains, these patties are the lowest quality chicken product on the McDonald's menu. That isn't just speculation. It comes directly from those who have witnessed what happens behind the fryer. Lab studies show that these patties contain only 45% real chicken flesh. What about the rest? A combination of fillers, soy protein, binders, modified food starch, and flavor enhancers. It is essentially playing chicken with the concept of chicken. A culinary scientist who analyzed fast food chicken patties from 12 major chains discovered that McDonald's ranked dead bottom in terms of true meat content, even worse than budget restaurants. Yeah, that's low. And there's a small secret to this sandwich size. The chicken patty itself weighs about 2 ounces and the bun weighs 3 ounces. That's not a mistake, it's a strategy. Internal records revealed that McDonald's increased the bread-to-meat ratio in 2018 to save money while maintaining the sandwich's size. Bread is less expensive than meat, hence the more buns sold, the greater the profit. How about the bun? It's the clinging spouse in the relationship who takes up all of the space and smothers the chicken. The texture isn't simply strange. It's purposefully designed to be that way. The chicken is mechanically tenderized by pushing it through tiny pores under high pressure. This shredded the muscular fibers and transformed them into something, well, unrecognizable. It's as if chicken had an identity problem and ended up looking like a kitchen sponge. What about the spicy McChicken? Sorry to disappoint, but this isn't a different patty. It's the same one, simply coated with spice powder after cooking. That powder frequently falls at the bottom of storage containers, which means the first sandwiches may have some heat. But by the end of the day, you're simply eating a slightly orange-colored sandwich with no individuality. It's like attending a concert when the band lip syncs every song. Here's the kicker. These patties can stay in warming drawers for up to 90 minutes, despite company policy requiring them to be discarded after 30. That is a long time. On a Friday night, you can remain out longer than most teenagers. What happens when they become rubbery? Employees are instructed to just slather on the mayonnaise, sometimes double or even triple the usual amount, to hide the texture. That is not flavor. That's a cover-up. It is makeup for sandwiches. And it does not end there. Patties that do not meet quality standards for dinner service, they don't always get chucked. Nope. Many are broken up and recycled as breakfast burritos the next morning. It's a demotion, similar to being demoted at work for coming up late. These patties may have broken breading, be the incorrect size, or simply seem off, but instead of being discarded, they are repurposed into something that customers are unlikely to notice. In a 2021 poll of 2,000 fast food employees, the McChicken patty was voted as the item they were least likely to consume themselves. What's the reason? Quality issues, unusual processing methods, and questionable handling procedures. And let's be honest, what happens when the folks who make the food refuse to eat it? That's like a lifeguard refusing to enter the pool. Not very reassuring. So, after 7 cautions about McDonald's beef, one thing is clear. What you order isn't necessarily what you expect. It's similar to internet dating. The profile images are appealing, but what happens when you meet in person? Yeah, reality does not always equal the anticipation.